Greetings, this is the Collector's Corner. I am here today with Paul Peterson of Rosemont, and we are going to look at his collection of stamps and coins and sports cards, something that I know absolutely nothing about, so you won't hear me say a whole lot of anything. I'm certainly not an expertise, but this gentleman is. So let's start out. First of all, I want to know how you got into this hobby to start with.
Well, my father worked in the post office in Chicago, the main post office, and he had to learn the whole city. And he would throw mail, they called it, sort mail to go to various post offices. And a lot of times they had letters where the people had moved, or they went to the dead letter office. And then they'd throw them out after a certain period of time. But he'd go in there and he'd take those envelopes home and take off the corners and take the stamps off. And he gave them to me, and they were very interesting. And I started the collecting, and so that's how I started collecting stamps. Well, you know, one of the great things about stamps is that you usually have famous people or famous events that happened. And in my life, I didn't know that person was, so I went to the library or someplace to find out who that person was, or if it was a particular person who I'd heard about who was famous. I had a stamp and a picture of that person, so it got me involved in knowing history and biography and all kinds of things. These were on the Hindenburg on its maiden voyage, or maiden trip to the United States. And of course, the Hindenburg crashed. It stopped. It was going the other direction, so it stopped in Los Angeles. I think it was to La Jolla, California. But so they probably were taken off there. So when the Hindenburg crashed later on in Lakehurst, New Jersey, they obviously were not on that because they would have burned.
Right. Now I see on this word we've got via the airship
Hindenburg, right.
From Frankfurt.
Yes.
And then we had a Stuttgart, cancellation over here.
Right.
And then to Lakehurst, and of course we know that was New Jersey.
Right.
Right.
And that's where it was taken off. When it was in California, it was taken off the Hindenburg, so it survived. And I had a lot of very valuable stamps, and especially my United States collection was almost complete. And I thought, what am I going to do with that? So I sold my stamp collection at auction, and had the auction in New York. But it wasn't very long. I missed it so much. I started it again. And then I got into coins because I thought the coins that they issued in 1999 to 2008, of each state, they would put a historic event that happened in that state or whatever. So, and I'm interested in history too, so I thought I would get into that. And then they issued later a whole series of U.S. presidents who are these. And so I got those.
What about these sports cards now? Do we have any we want to show?
And one of the things I was fortunate to travel a lot on my job, and I met Muhammad Ali, sat down on a stool next to him in O'Hare Airport. And I looked at the side and said, I'm sitting next to Muhammad Ali. So I got his autograph on the back of a United Airline ticket.
I see. Okay.
And then my trips around, and I went to Atlanta, and checking in was a Chicago Bulls basketball team. So I got Michael Jordan just to give this autograph on a piece of paper that was on the counter. So collecting's been a wonderful part of my life. I've really enjoyed it, and I've given away. I had a lot more. I had a full worldwide collection, stamp collection. I moved here to Shell Point, but I got interested in the stamp ministry that we have at Shell Point.
Well, thank you, Paul, so much. We really enjoyed that. And I'm glad to get something that I really know very little about.
Well, it's been a great part of my life and being involved in that, and got a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Thank you for
Thank you for coming.
sharing this with Shell Point.